So I love Orem. I've worked hard for the city. The mayor's job is a part-time job that I put in over 50 hours a week on, and we work hard to build for the future. The city council has been great to work with, and I think that we've accomplished a lot. So 4 years ago when I was running for mayor, the mall was sitting there with 2 empty anchor stores out of 3. 10 regular stores were empty and 14 kiosks were empty. Midtown Village was basically a ghost town, had insulation flapping in the wind. The weeds were really tall and the fences were down. It looked terrible. The city was considering raising taxes to get more revenue. They were cutting services. Our police and fire personnel were not as high in number as we needed to be. Today, after 4 years, I'm proud to bring forward that the University Mall has a $500 million expansion going on. They've put themselves and made themselves into a mixed-use facility. They have new office building. They've refurbished the inside of the mall. They have a new park. They're building a new parking garage. They're building new buildings for other stores to come to. To give you an idea, R.C. Willey combined and went into the mall, and their sales are 30% higher than they were before. If you look at Tucano's, their sales are the highest they've ever had in 20 years of existence in 10 stores there at University Mall. So great things are happening at the mall. A lot of new stores are coming. A lot of places, businesses want to be at the mall. Midtown Village, we brought in a developer who purchased that property, developed it. It's 80% full on the north and south towers. It's been completely redone, has a new amenity package, has 2 new west towers going up. It looks beautiful. People love to live there. We've had no tax increases. Our bond debt is down. Our revenues for sales tax is up. Our revenues for property taxes are up. Our revenues for franchise taxes are up, and we've not raised any property taxes whatsoever. So a lot of great things have happened in the city. Again, like I mentioned earlier, we've had over 60 new businesses and restaurants come into the city. The west side, which is kind of a wedge, an industrial wedge, is starting to turn into more of office buildings and great spaces over there. We have United Parcel Service doubled the size of their facility. We have a plumbing business that's very large that's come in over there. So a lot of great things are happening. Again, as I look at it, we have 40 new police cars that we've purchased over the last 4 years. We have a new ladder fire truck that we've purchased. We've brought in new bulletproof vests for our policemen. We brought in new body cameras for our policemen. We brought in new breathing apparatus for our firemen. And one day when I was over at Fire Station 3 talking to the firemen, they were showing me how they use the jaws of life. And this is a hydraulic set of jaws of life that sits on one truck and it goes out to a car accident. And if a person is in the car and can't get out, they use the jaws of life to cut through the metal and get the person out. But as I tried to pick up the jaws of life, I could hardly pick it up. And I asked him, I said, isn't there a better way than this? Because this looks really heavy and really awkward. And they said, Mayor, it's kind of funny you asked that. There is a better way. There are battery-operated jaws of life out there, and we would love to have them. So I said, well, let me talk to our city staff, our city manager, and our council and see what we can do. They agreed that we ought to do this. Our fire chief agreed. We then went and got appropriations from the city council. We purchased new jaws of life. So where we were only able to get jaws of life out to 20% of the accidents, we now have jaws of life at all of the fire stations. They're battery operated, they're lightweight. We can cover 80% of all accidents, 4 times as much. That's a little thing, but that's something that's very, very important. So there are a lot of little things like that. On 1600 North, over by Northridge Grade School, we had someone who was killed. And I looked at that and I said, can't we do better with what we're doing in protecting our children? That's not an area you'd normally have a crosswalk, but I asked for one. We got a crossing guard put in there, and we're protecting our children. We got a brand new hawk system put in over by Orchard Elementary and protecting our children there. So we've worked hard in our community to beautify, to bring in new recreation, to bring in new equipment for safety, to protect, to get our community moving forward and into the future in ways that will be a help for our children and our grandchildren. Thank you. So you can go to my website at www.richardbrunst.com, and you can look at various items about what I've done on my Facebook page. The other thing is, it's interesting to go to the Orem website and also to the Daily Herald and just punch in my name, and you'll see me doing a Congo dance with kids at the new splash pad park. You'll see me going down the slide at our new children's swimming pool at the recreation center in my suit. You'll even see me doing a belly flop off the diving board at our Sarah pool, helping to raise funds for our new all-ability park. We're having fun in Orem. Orem truly is Family City USA, and we're building for the future. Thank you.